looking forward for this session. I don't have anything else to say, so the floor is yours. And yeah, that's all. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So hello everyone. I'm really happy to be with you in this last day of the FinOps Summit. I will present a nice session, I think, about human resources app for teams. I'm lucky because I had a really good introduction with the other session regarding HR. My name is Raphaël Potin. I'm a Power Platform and DevOps enthusiast, so I'm a bit lost today because it's not my topic. I'm not a FinOps expert. I just got the opportunity to work on human resources a few years ago in my last experience, and I really liked the application. So it's why I'm continuing to take a look at it, and it's why I'm presenting this session today. You can contact me on Twitter, LinkedIn. I have a small blog on Medium, and I have a GitHub page too. So do not hesitate to contact me if you have questions regarding this session or anything else. Just if you want to chat, it's okay. I'm trying to be available to chat with people of the community. Okay, so the agenda for this session. I know Anna made a great session earlier today regarding human resources, a big overview. It's not a simple overview, it was a great overview, but I will just present few slides of introduction. Then I will present the human resources app for Teams directly in Teams with a small demonstration. And in the last part, we will see how we can go a bit further with the Power Platform. It's more my thing, I would say, to use the Power Platform to enhance the application. So I will try to show that to you. So Dynamics 365 human resources. I tried to put everything on a timeline. I hope I did not make any mistake on the dates, but Dynamics 365 Talent is a young product with a short story, few main points. I think the product was released around August 2017 with 3 modules, Core HR, Attract, and Onboard. It covers many parts of the HR process. The first big milestone after that was in December 2019, where when there was a rebranding of the application. We begin to experience that in many places of the Power Platform. So Dynamics 365 Talent became Dynamics 365 Human Resources. But it was not the biggest news this month, because Microsoft also announced the deprecation of Attract and Onboard, two of the 3 modules in the application, and without any replacement in the roadmap. So it was a big news, I think, for people who were trying to implement Dynamics 365 Talent and were planning to use Attract and Onboard. But you have to adapt in this world, so it was just a news, I would say, like that. And then in May 2020, the Human Resources app for Teams was announced. It's still in preview, so we are waiting for general availability, but it was the last key milestone for me, for one person following Dynamics 365 Human Resources from far, I will say. It was an important announcement. Okay, so Dynamics 365 Human Resources, you will have many parts in this application, benefits, compensation management, learning. I think it covers the main parts of the human resources processes. And the main, I would say, module in the application for our session will be leave and absence. And when you talk about leave and absence process in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, you will have an important first step. It will be the configuration. You will have many, I would say, records, many pages inside Dynamics 365 Human Resources to go through to be able to use it, but I think it's worth it. When everything will be set up, your employees will be able to make requests. Obviously, you will have an approval process. You will be able to choose between an automatic approval or a manual approval from a manager or an HR team member. And the last piece, I think it's more recent. It's the ability to share a vision of leave and absences inside the team or from the manager directly inside Dynamics 365 Human Resources. I will just show you the screen from two perspectives, different perspectives. On the left of the screen, you have the personal space for a manager, and on the right, you have the personal space for an employee, a team member of this manager. And here you can see the part for the time off. You are able to request time off, view time off. You can view the balances. So I will say it's a key place for employees directly inside Dynamics 365 Human Resources to manage their time off. And you're also able to, just like I mentioned before, see a calendar of people in your team. Okay, obviously, because I just have one employee for the test, I just have one line. But if you have many people in the team with the same manager, you will be able to see every lines and check, okay, who is here today or who is not. From the manager perspective, you have the same thing because the manager is also an employee, so you are still able to manage your own time off in this page, and you are able to see the absences of people who share the same manager. But you have another tab. You do not have it here for the employee, but for the manager, you can see the information for your own team. And for example, you have the manager absence calendar that gives you the ability to check the time off of people working in your team. And just like I've shown before for the employee, you can see everything. I think it's the same screen, but just with different filters. And I think you have seen it in a previous session today, but just for the record, you have here also the leave and absence part for the manager, where you can check some, okay, the resolution is not perfect, but check the information of an employee regarding the leave and absence, for example. So you can get some details, the balances, 44 hours, for example. And it's really cool to be able to manage all this information in one place. Okay, so it's a great start to have all this directly in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, because in many companies you will have this kind of information in Excel files or things like that. So it's good to see all this here. I will not show you the configuration now. If we have time at the end of the session, I will be able to go through some key parts to show it to you if you want. So it was a quick introduction of the application in the whole vision. Now, the Human Resources app for Teams. So just for the record, just like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, it's still in preview, so you will not be able to use it in your production environment. But it's good to know what Microsoft is trying to do with this application. Okay, so just a screenshot. So I'm able to switch and present everything directly in Teams. If I switch in Teams, you will see that the Human Resources app is here, pinned. It's really easy to do. You just have to search if it's enabled in your company, you will be able to see it. And then you can just pin or unpin it in Teams. And here in this application, so for people who know Dataverse for Teams, it's not a Dataverse for Team application, okay? It's a native Teams app. And you will have 4 different tabs in this application. I will show them to you after. For me, the main tab is this one, time off. You find your balances as an employee still on the right of the screen. You see the balances, you can see the upcoming time offs you have. You can have a vision of all your time offs organized by years. Okay, so I just have 2021. The status, the duration, the dates, the type. So it's a great start, and you also have a part for drafts. So you are able to, I would say, initialize some leave time offs, and then you are able to submit them directly from there. The new request option allows you to select a type, and then I will go through all the process. You have a pop-up like this that will open. You can select a date. We select today, just to let this to be easy. You can set the duration. I will let this to be 8 hours. You are able to make a comment. Demonstration FinOps submit, for example. And just like in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, you are able to add an attachment. Okay, and then you can save it as a draft, cancel what you have done, or submit. I will submit just to be able to get some time, because everything has to move between the different parts of the Microsoft ecosystem, from Teams to Human Resources to Dataverse. So, okay, so I have a request submitted that gives me the opportunity to come here and show you the chat tab. Today, we just have 2 options in the chat: view balances and take time off. If you say just view balances, you will have a screen. I think I have one here, just like this one, telling you what are your balances today. And if you select the other option, you are able to complete the information to take a time off or to submit a request for time off. But I will show you that in another step of the demonstration. You have the settings part. Okay, you can choose an account, choose an environment. If you have many environments, for example, dev, test, production, for example, you are able to make some tests directly in the right environment, and you have some details regarding the selected environment, available or user is valid. And the last part is about, and you can see that it's still in preview in the name. Okay, so if I come back here, I should see my PTO request in a review. And that let me the time to show you the screen for the manager. On the left of the screen, we are still with the manager. You have the same things, just like in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, but you have a team calendar tab in the time off. And here you can see the different information. For example, this one that allows you to go and chat with the employee. I will come back here. Okay, I will show you that just after finish my turn. Okay, and here you can see we have a pending time off for the 31 of January. And for the other weeks, you can see all the information. You are able to switch from week to month view. And for the week perspective, you can also go back to the today. So it's pretty cool, and you can navigate from the date like this. So it's a really good way to navigate in the application. Okay, so when I've submitted a time off from the employee Teams screen, the application sent an approval to the manager. Okay, so you are able to approve, deny. You have the description, the employee configured in the time off. So you are able to approve, make good, and approve the request. So what's really great from my point of view with this application is that you can do all the time off management directly inside Teams. And we all know that today, and even before, but today more than ever, Teams is the place where everything is going on during the day. So if you are able to bring the time of request, time of approval, time of notifications inside Teams, the only things that you will still need to do in Dynamics 365 Human Resources will be the configuration. Okay, so for me, it's a really great point. And I think all the Dynamics 365 application will move to that kind of system one day. Okay, I should receive a notification here soon. And you see that it's adaptive cards we have on the screen. So you will just be able to view details, you get the duration, and you can even dismiss the message, so it will delete the message from the chat if you don't want to keep all the approvals notification here. Okay. Okay, it takes a bit too long, I would say. I will switch to, okay, my presentation, where it is, it's here. And I will come back to show you, oh, I forgot one piece, I'm sorry. The last interesting thing with the application is that you are able to send here, you are able to send a card with an upcoming time off to another person in Teams. I think one basic use case for this feature is, okay, tomorrow I will not be here, or in 2 days I will not be at work. I chat a lot with Raphaël Potin, for example. I will send to him a card just so he has in the conversation at the end the card showing, okay, I'm not here the 25th, 25, for example. So when Raphael will come in the conversation, he will see, okay, he is not here today. I will not send a message for nothing. So it's an interesting feature, but I do not see many use cases for now. Okay, do I have my notification here? Okay, here today, so I don't lie. I have a notification. My manager approved my time off request, and I see also the comment. So just like I've mentioned before, everything is going on inside Teams. You don't have to switch between applications. So I don't know for you, but for me, it's a great application. But I found some points that could be improved, some use cases, for example, some scenarios that could be improved within the application. And to address these use cases, I try to implement some solution directly inside the Power Platform. Okay, so first scenario. In the first demonstration, I've shown you a leave request with a manual approval, a manager approval. And it's why my manager received a notification in the application in Teams and was able to approve or deny this time off request. But another workflows which is available in human resources is automatic approval. In that case, the employee will submit the request directly in the application in Teams. Few minutes later, I will say this timeline, the employee will get a notification that the request has been approved. But in the same time, the manager has no clue what's going on. I don't say that it's for have all the information, but I think it's great as a manager to just know that someone submitted a time off, and even if has been approved automatically. So what I've tried to do is to implement a cloud flow and a desktop flow to cover this use case. On the screen, you see a diagram of the scenario. The employee will submit a request inside Teams. Obviously, it will be created inside Dynamics 365 Human Resources and synchronized in the Dataverse database. All this is automatic. Then the automatic workflow will be triggered, and the notification will be sent to the employee inside Teams, just like the one we've seen before. The status of the leave request will be updated in Human Resources and in the Dataverse. And when the status is updated in Dataverse, a cloud flow will be triggered. We will simulate a synchronization. We will force, I would say, a synchronization between Human Resources and Dataverse to be sure to have the last information regarding the details of the leave request using a desktop flow. And then when we will have all the information inside Dataverse, we will build some cards and send the notification to the manager. Okay? I will show all that to you from, I will say, end user's perspective. And at the end of the session, if we have time, and I think we will have some, I will be able to show the flows to you. Okay. I promised I will show you the time off request inside the chat. So here it is. Take time off. You have to say enter. Here the chat will answer. It can take some time, but I hope it will not take too much. Okay, come on. No, does not want to come. You know, it's a demonstration effect. Okay, it's here. Here, it asks me to select the type of time off I want to request. It will be a sick. I linked the sick type to the automatic approval. We'll say sick. Okay, I see the application is talking to me. Start date, it was yesterday. It was not the perfect day yesterday. It was so sick. Okay. And sometime you will see things like that, but it should not be typing anything. And I will submit the request. So you see, it's pretty easy. The main difference between the request in the time off tab and in the chat, you are not able to select a duration when you do it with the chat. So if you want to just select 4 hours and not the 8 hours of the day in your request, you need to go through the time off tab. But if it's an all day request or 3 or 4 days, you are totally able to do that directly from the chat. Okay, I will just wait the magic thing to happen. So, okay, I can go here in the time off tab to show you that. Okay, it has been completed already. Oh, it was quick. And the desktop flow should trigger in any seconds on my desktop. Obviously, for the demonstration today, I've triggered the. Okay, and I will show it to you here. So here is the screen, and it's the desktop flow with controlling my screen. So you can see my hand. I'm doing nothing here. For the sake of the demonstration, I'm showing it to you directly on my laptop, but I think the main information here is to use it from a virtual machine in Azure or anywhere and make the automation going there. So the desktop flow will go to Dataverse, will go to human resources, go to the Dataverse integration part, select a particular table, the leave request details table, and trigger a synchronization. After a few seconds, it will close the window and give the end to the Cloudflow to notify the manager. So in few seconds, we should have, yeah, it's working. Okay, so here the Flowbot sent a notification to the manager telling him, okay, an absence has been automatically approved from Nicole Holiday, and here is the number of the absence as a identifier of the absence inside human resources if you want to go and check the information. It's really simple card here. I did not put any more information, but obviously because in Dataverse you have the dates, you have many informations, you can put everything inside the card to give more insights to the manager. Okay. Okay, so this one was the first one. I go back to my slides. The next scenario, I don't know for you, but in many companies I worked, people tend to send an email to the team when they have a time off. For example, tomorrow or 1 week, they will send an email telling people, okay, I'm not here tomorrow. I feel always a bit sad when I receive an email like that, like this one, because I'm convinced that with all the great systems we have out there, we should be able to automate this kind of notification, this kind of information. In the case of human resources, it's a bit the same. I'm not aware of a way to automatically push a notification to a team saying, okay, this person in the team or this person is not here today, and do this every day. So I built a Cloudflow that will trigger automatically every morning, get the information of who is here and who is not here today, and then publish an adaptive card in a specific channel in a team, listing the name of people who are not here today. Okay. For this one, I do not have an example to trigger because it's an automatic trigger, but I can show you the result in Teams. Okay, here you have one. It was from the 29. The flow triggered. Okay, the time zone, it's not perfect, but the flow triggered and get the absence of the day and put the name of the people in the team who are not here today. And like this, everyone who will arrive the morning at work will be able to check, okay, I wanted to talk with Nicole, for example, today, but she's not here. I will not be able to do that. And I've added another part of this notification system for the last minute absence. The first demonstration I've made today, it was an absence for today. It was for a PTO time off, but it was later than the morning. So my automatic flow already triggered the morning and did not have this information. And it's why I'm pushing another card here, last minute absence, saying that this person took a time off today for today, during the day. It's a way to push the information to everyone in the team. Okay. Do you have some questions? I have other things I can show, obviously, but I just want to see if there is some question regarding the presentation.
I
No.
don't see any question in the chat, but maybe you can share with us your biggest challenge with this process of integration.
Okay, sure. And Anna, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask too. Okay, the biggest challenge, I will go through the biggest challenge in this, I will say, solution was the desktop flow, because it's, I would say, the first one I've made, and which is working at each demonstration. So it's a good one, I would say like that. It's a simple one, but a good one. It was a challenge because it's, even if I know Selenium and things like this, it's not really easy to implement, because when you will record, for example, the steps of the desktop flow, it will not take in account the fact that when it will run later in production, I will say like that, it will open a private window in your browser. So you have to add some more steps at the beginning to open the Dynamics 365 URL, but also logging using a user login and user password. So, for example, you will try to record the desktop flow. You will be here, logged in Microsoft, and you will launch the recording. Okay, you will enter the URL of human resources, and it will automatically open the application because you are already logging. But when it will run automatically, you have to take in account the fact that it will be a private window and you will not be logging in the application. So you need to put these specific steps manually, I will say like that, or record them using some debugging techniques to get all the steps and to add them manually in the desktop flow to be able to make what you want to do. In my case, trigger synchronization between human resources and Dataverse. It was a first challenge. And then another one, I think it's not easy when you don't know how to do it. It's a notification with adaptive card. Adaptive cards are built in, I will zoom a bit, in JSON. So if you do not know how to read a JSON schema, you will have some difficulties to send the notification. So you see it's like this. An adaptive card, it's like this, and you have to put the information where you want to do. Okay, so those are the big challenges I've encountered building this solution. But the good news, and I prepared this so because I knew I have some time, it's in the GitHub page of the event of today, my GitHub repository. I've put in the solution and the steps to configure it. So you will be able, if you want to try this solution with the automatic flows, cloud flows, desktop flows, you will be able to do that using this solution. And moreover, if you want to go further, implement other automations, and just taking a look at what I've done, you can also just download this solution, follow the steps, and do the configuration. You need some parts at the beginning. Obviously, a Dynamics 365 human resources environment, an on-premise data gateway to use the desktop flow. You need to have this on where you want to trigger the desktop flow. You need to install the on-premises data gateway. In my case, it's on my laptop. And also you need to have the human resources app for Teams available and installed in Teams for the users. In my case, it was the manager and the employee, the team member. And if you want to have some time to facilitate the following steps, you can create connections for UI flows, Microsoft Teams for the notifications, and Command Data Service current environment for the main part of the cloud flows. Here you have some steps directly inside Dynamics 365 human resources. Some steps are for a trial environment. For example, the configuration of the users. I've got some help from Anna last year to be able to set this correctly, because you can't make the demonstration with an administrator in human resources, because even if you want to have the administrator as a manager, it will not work correctly. So you will need to use two other users, one manager and one team member. You need to configure correctly the email addresses on the workers in the case of a Dynamics 365 trial environment. In my case, I set up the automatic the manager approval on the PTO. Perhaps some experts in the room can tell me why the automatic approval is set by default on the trial environment, but in my case, I just have to put this one here. Enable the Dataverse integration in human resources. So I can come back here and show it to you. In the system, here, system parameters, you can also search for here. Oh no, it's not that I wanted to. This one is for after. Okay, Dataverse integration. You have to enable it. If it's not already done, because if you don't do that, you will not have the information in Dataverse, so you will not be able to use the cloud flows and the desktop flows. So you need to enable this thing, and then trigger the synchronization if you want to start your test right now. If you can wait, just wait the next synchronization. Okay, so you have the Dataverse integration here, and then you have to go to system parameters to enable the notification in Teams. System parameters. And here you can enable the notification for Teams app. Okay. If you don't do that, the manager will not receive an approval directly in Teams, and the employee will not receive the notification that the time off has been approved or denied. And from the user's perspective, come back to human resources here. You have users options. I think it's in workflow. You need to verify that the notification for Teams app is enabled. In my case, when I enabled this one, it enables for all the users, my test users. But if one of your users is not receiving the notification, just check in the user options. Okay, and it was for the Dynamics 365 human resources part. Then for the solution elements, obviously you need to import this solution into the Dataverse environment associated to your Dynamics 365 human resources environment. And you need to make some updates in some cloud flows. The first one is in the apply to each leave request details. Okay, I will show it to you. It will be easier. Just check leave request approved. Okay, this one. I never have questions in this session. I don't know why. Perhaps I have to rework my session. Okay, so in apply to each leave request details, I think it's here. I have a step here when I considered if it's an auto-approved leave type, because I'm not sure if you can check this information directly inside Dataverse, but for now, you have to specify the GUID of the leave type you want to consider for auto-approved. Okay, and then I set a variable. If you want to know where to get this information, okay, you can get in data tables. If you want to get the ID, switch to all to be sure to get the one you want to see. Leave type, data, switch to all columns, and then here you will have the GUID of the type. Okay, I don't know what it does not want. You have the GUID here, BFE, if I'm not wrong, BFE. Okay, so you have to update this step for your own use cases. Another update to do is for the call to the desktop flow. Okay, I've tried to make this a bit smarter. Here you have to, it's okay, it's a trial environment. It will be destroyed soon. But you have all the informations here to connect. So you have to set up the Dynamics 365 HR URL, the user login, and the user password. Obviously, you need to have access to the Dataverse integration to be able to trigger the synchronization. So it's why I've put some security here. So it's a security in output and settings, secure inputs, secure outputs. So when the flow will run, if someone take a look at the run, you will not have the information. Okay, and the last part, yes, for the post to the teams for the last minute absence, you have to update the team and the channel. Okay, as you can see here, in my case, I've considered only one team and one channel. Obviously, if you want to use this feature, I would say like that, for your whole organization, you will have to find a way to dynamically set the team and the channel inside this action based on the team of the employee to be able to share the card in the right place. And it's the same for the scheduled daily flow. You have to update the teams and the channel for the action. And the last part, yep. When all the flows are configured, you have another one to, I will show why here. I have some time. Oh yeah, I have some time. In the worker table, okay, where you have all your workers inside Dataverse. I don't know why either, but the manager is not automatically set. Perhaps it's an open question for people in the room who work every day with human resources, but I don't know why this column is not automatically updated. But for me, it's not automatically updated. So I've built a flow, a manual. In my case, okay, it's a manual one, but it's a manual or trigger? No, I think it's a manual one because in the case of the demonstration, I don't want to have this triggered every day, but obviously you can make it schedule every day. And this cloud flow will update the manager on each worker. So you have to go through, list the worker, list the position, list the active position using some filters, list the worker position assignments, the positions, because the manager is on the position. Okay, so you have to go through many steps to be able to get the manager of an employee and then to be able to update the information. I think that's it for me. I still have some time. Any question?
It was a great session. We still have some minutes, 15 minutes, to discuss if you want to. There are no questions in the chat, but if someone wants to raise any doubt or question, just feel free to drop your note in the chat and we can discuss about it. Rafael, maybe you can go back to the beginning of your presentation and share where people can reach out to you. Where are you active and all that kind of stuff.
Go back many slides. Okay, yeah. I'm a bit everywhere. So search for Raphaël Potin. I'm not sure if there is another one in the community now, so it should be easy to find me.
Yeah.
And
I have a question. I'm sorry, I will ask you this now, but how you pronunciate your last name?
Potin.
Okay, great. Yes. I pronounced it really badly before.
No, it's okay.
So
it's not an easy one. It's not easy one to pronounce. If I can just take the few minutes left to show perhaps the configuration quickly, how the configuration of the leave type looks like in human resources. Perhaps some people could be interested.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here in leave and absence, if you have the right permissions, in leave and absence, in links, you will find the information you can configure. Obviously, you have leave and absence parameters. You can choose if you want to be in hours, in days, if you want to enable half-day definition, and I would say global configuration regarding the leave and absence module. And I would say the new part, but it's not really new because it was added a few months ago. But you have the calendar, just like I've shown you, directly in human resources. You have some calendars for the team, so you can add some details here. And if you go back, okay, you will have the leave and absence types. So it's the first level of configuration for the leave and absences. You need here to update some information. I have many types because I'm on a trial environment. You can set a color for the calendar. It's great if you want to differentiate easily the different time of types. And you can set the workflow, the approval workflow of your time of type. For example, sick, here we are on automatic approval. And just like I've mentioned in my GitHub procedure, you have to switch if you want to have the manual approval in human resources app for teams. You have to switch here for the white workflow. And when you have all your types set up, you can go to leave and absence plans, and you can have multiple plans per type, because perhaps for the PTO, you will not manage the same way the plans for different population of employees inside your company. So you can have different ones. For example, you have PTO exam, PTO hourly here. If I go on this one, you have many configuration. You have the accrual schedule, not an easy one to configure. Moreover, if you have a number like this here, because at the end of the year, perhaps the number will not be right. I've experienced that in a previous project. So you can make many configurations here. You have also this one rule, if you want to be able to buy and sell leaves, if it's allowed in your company. And when you have done all that, if you go to, okay, for example, I will check. I'm on me, it's easier. On each employee, but you can do that also for many employees. But if you have a new employee coming in your company, where it is, okay. Does it move? I will check. Oh, okay, here. View time off, leave and absence. You have some options here. You can also accrue manually the plans and things like that. I will just go back for the, I would say, the bulk enrollment. I think it's somewhere here. Oh, here, enrollment. You can, I don't remember how you make it bulk, but yeah, you have an option to, I'm sure you have an option to, or you can do it with the extension for Excel. If you don't know how, just like me, I try to show you, but if you do not find how to enroll on your employees inside Dynamics 365 Human Sources, one way, I don't say it's the best way, but one way you can do that is using the extension for Excel to manipulate the data in human resources. Okay, I think it's the end for me. I'm letting some minutes for the next one.
Okay.
But thank you everyone for attending this session. I think you find it a little bit helpful and interesting, at least. And do not hesitate to contact me if you want to learn more. And you will be able to have the link to my GitHub repository to find the solution if you want to try it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Rafael. It's been a great presentation. I think that we went through all the process and people know how well it works, HR with Teams. And that's something that we need to start using and taking advantage of, because employees already know how to use Teams. So it's a simple integration that helps everyone work better. So it was a great session. Thank you very much. If you want to drop your information into the chat, feel free to do that. And thank you very much.
Thank you for the moderation of my session, Aina.
No problem. We do have a question in the chat, but it's a general question about plans to integrate with timesheet or payroll. But what I would recommend you is to be updated with the latest news from the HR docs site. I will drop that into the chat in a minute, so you can see how it's working and the upcoming releases. Yeah, that's something that we didn't address in this event, but it will be an interesting thing to go through. So I will drop that information into the chat. So far, we've been talking a lot about HR lately, this past, I don't know, 3 hours or 4. It's been amazing. We have another session upcoming. I see that the speaker is already there, at least in the chat. So we have a few minutes. If you want, Ismail, we can test your screen share and your mic, and we can wait for a few minutes after